this is why I just believe that crypto is the next logical step where humanity is heading.
It's never been easier to learn how to trade, so diversify.
It's principles that applies to all areas of life.
Pretty much, yeah.
Designing the life that you want.
That was when I realized, okay, now I got it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have the strategy that wins 100% of the time.
All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Jakob. I'm the founder and creator of TradeVibe, and right now you're watching or listening to TradeVibe, the podcast. Hi, and I want to say I'm so excited about doing this. This is episode number 1. Now, TradeVibe, the podcast, what we're going to be talking about is the ups, the downs, the lifestyle, the strategies, everything within forex trading, crypto trading, stock trading, all that within. And yeah, so we're just going to go right off the bat. We have a special guest on right now. I know him. He's a good friend of mine. We go way back since 2016. And we flew him in all the way from Canada. He's here now in Copenhagen. And I'm so excited to do this episode with him. It's only fitting that he's going to be on episode number 1 because we did this back in the day. We started out together, ride or die. So he goes by the name Nadim. And so Nadim, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jacob. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm super excited to be part of this project. And one correction, by the way, we've known each other since 2015. So I kind of feel hurt a little bit, but it's okay. I'll let it pass this time.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I'm Nadim. I go by Jaba. That's my trading name or persona that people know me as online. How do you feel about this whole TradeVibe project? Like, I know you were talking to me about it for years. And then I just stopped hearing about it, and then boom, TradeVibe is back.
Very true. As you know, when you've been trading for so many years and you do it day in, day out, and you make a living out of it, at some point it becomes dull, I would say. You need more.
Very true.
Yeah, so as you said, I started TradeVibe a long time ago, or the project development of it, and I just couldn't really get myself to complete it because it's a lot of work. As I'm sure you know, you have your own community as well. But now I have surrounded myself with a great team. And as you know, there's no I in team. And having a team around you is what's going to make or break it. And in this case, it's going to make it for sure. Because these people that are working around the clock with TradeVibe are just amazing people. And they inspire me to work as hard as I can. And that is one of the reasons why we're sitting here now and doing this episode is the team helps me going and make it work.
What is your mission with TradeVibe?
I feel like you're becoming the host right now. You're asking me a bunch of questions.
It's okay.
Here.
Well, I mean, we're just here to talk at the end of the day.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, we
can share whatever we want.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about the mission about TradeVibe. The mission with TradeVibe is we want to educate and want to help. That's the main goal. But it's also very important to remember that this is not just innovation before we start. We want to keep innovating the product. We want to keep expanding and make it better. We're not just going to be here and make a good entrance on the market and then let it milk. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually something that we are highly dedicated towards, and we are attention to detail people and want to make the best out of it. So want to educate, want to make sure that people are making a living out of it as well. And just make awesome forex trading related products, physical products, and also applications on the computer and things like that. So that is like the main goal.
I love that. And as you said earlier, I did start my community. I started a little bit after we met. I started online, mostly in my city. It was a local thing, and over time I realized that as a trader, a lot of people begin by themselves and you're a lone wolf and you do your own shit. But being surrounded by like-minded individuals is so important and so key because you can move ahead so much further. You know how they say that you move fast by yourself, but you move further with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that being surrounded by the right people in the right environment will help any individual achieve their personal goals faster. So I love the idea of communities, and especially with how technology and everything is separating people and making each person more locked in their own space. We still need that human connection, that human touch, where we feel like a group So yeah, I love the ideas of creating communities. So whether it's my community or yours, I'm glad to be part of this project as well.
Yeah, and speaking about being part of it, you are actually going to be part of it. That's
Indeed.
something we're going to be talking about on this episode as well. Nadim is joining forces with me, and he's going to be the one leading the crypto part of TradeVibe. We're going to be launching that in January or February, however, whenever we got the time to sit down and do that, because we're also going to be launching TradeVibe first, which is going to be forex related in the beginning. And by the time you're probably watching this, at this time, we haven't launched the product yet. And that's something I also want to address a little bit on this show is that we are very determined to make a great product because we already spend a lot of money, time, and people to develop this project. And so we are going to be launching in the beginning of next year, like early January, and then somewhere in February, March. That's when Nadim is going to come in and be leading the crypto part. And so Nadim, let's talk a little bit about the crypto space because let's go back a little bit. Let's hear your story a little bit first because you have a good story. It's very similar to mine, but also very different in many ways. We come from the same background when it comes to the trading. We started at the same place. And that's something we're going to be talking about. So, why don't you just let's dive down.
Sure. So my beginnings start all the way from being in my parents' basement. I started some side hustles here and there, some projects. At the end of the day, all I wanted was to just make money and try to make a name out of myself, do something. I had the classic student life, like studying university, had jobs, and I just knew that it wasn't for me. So that's when I started dabbling into different projects, and everything led to me joining Binary Options online chat room, you could say. And that's where we met. And with Binary Options, this led to forex. From forex, this led to crypto. So the forex journey is still going. Like forex, I consider that to be my baby. Crypto came after, but I do both at the same time. There's seasons where one will overtake the other. But in general, everything that's related to charts trading, I love that. 2014 is when I started Binary Options. A few months later, transitioned to Forex. And I did Forex for about 2-3 years. And then at some point, I was looking to diversify. That's when I looked into stocks. And whenever I got into stocks, I was practicing demoing my strategies, my approach to see if it would still work in the in the stock space. And while I was doing that, that's when one of my buddies told me about Bitcoin. That was the end of 2016. And ever since I started looking into Bitcoin, I was like, holy shit, I fell in love with this technology, this innovation. To me, it's the next logical step to human civilization. So the rest is history. I've been in crypto. I've been riding the waves the ups and downs ever since. This is technically now my third cycle that I'm in. The first one I joined halfway in. Second one from 2018 to 2021, I was full on committed to it. And now I'm in my third cycle. I'm excited to see where all of this is going to go, but I know we're going to kill it regardless. Because when you have individuals like you and I involved in putting our heads together, how can it go bad? Let's not jinx ourselves. Everything's going to go well.
Everything happens for a reason. I believe that. And you always say that. But this is going to go well because not only is it up to me and you, it's also up to all the people that are working on the project.
Exactly. I believe just by expanding our energy with the right words, we're going to be attracting individuals that we may not have met yet, that down the line will just change the rest of our lives.
For sure. And I feel like I'm already getting to that point because of, like I mentioned before, I can't mention it enough. The people that are working around the project are also changing my life because without them, we wouldn't be able to get this off.
Exactly.
So so let's talk a little bit more about crypto. What made you transition from Forex into crypto completely? Not completely, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Just crypto brings a solution to a big problem, in my opinion. And you know how it's, let's say you want to live the freedom life where you're not limited or not restricted to any boundaries, any limitations, whatever. The money system itself, I believe, is getting too old and it needs to be updated. Our parents, they were the internet generation. That's how I call them. I mean, they saw the boom of the internet. We were super young when that happened, so we weren't very aware of it. But our generation is being exposed to crypto. So internet, what it did is increase the speed of how people exchange information. You know, like before that, you would have to send letters with pigeons, and you'd get one text message, "Hey, what you doing?" Like 5 days later. So internet sped up the process of how people exchange information. Now with crypto, I believe it's time to increase the rate or the speed of how people exchange value. And value doesn't stop at money. It could be anything. I mean, a house has a value. So imagine transacting houses, properties, commodities, anything in a much quicker way. Because right now, I mean, I don't know if you've tried sending large amounts of money or value with traditional financial institutions. First, it's a hassle. They ask you a million questions. It takes a long time. There's a lot of friction in how it's done. So crypto makes it a lot easier. And you know, from an entrepreneurial point of view, whenever you want to invest something into something, you always have to ask yourself, like, what is this solving, and what is the scale that it's trying to solve? And the bigger the problem, the more challenging it will be. But the solution, if it works, will pay off a lot more. So this is why I just believe that crypto is the next logical step where humanity is heading. What happens next? I don't know. But yeah, as of now, like I'm fully committed to crypto, investing in crypto, but I also trade crypto, day trade, swing trade. There's seasons, there's cycles, all of that you learn over time. But yeah, I'm super excited for what's coming. And you know, the next 12 to 24 months also are going to be huge for crypto. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that in a second. I want to talk a little bit about TradeVibe. So your part of TradeVibe is going to be the crypto. What is your vision for that?
My vision is simple: provide clarity and guidance to people who probably don't have as much experience as me. So I'm gonna apply myself to the best of my knowledge and provide insights that could help anybody that maybe doesn't have that as much experience as I do into getting more clarity into what they're headed in. And you know, it's like a jungle, but with the right tools, with the right people, with the right team, you can survive a jungle. So this is my goal, honestly. Just continue to be who I am. Whatever I'm looking for, the approach that I'm using, I want to transmit that or exchange that with the rest of the people.
And what about, so as you know, TradeVibe is going to be a lot about education and providing value. And in value, I'm also talking about trading ideas that people can profit from. Not only that, we also are thinking about doing some webinars where we're going to teach people on like one-to-one basis or like a whole classroom. That's something you're going to be doing too, right?
Definitely. So whether it's individuals, like individual sessions, group sessions, and you know, even the sessions, like I have a lot of ideas. It could be like just research sessions, it could be analysis sessions, it could be technical sessions. So there's so much that we can do. And you know, it's things that I would do already by myself, but it's boring by yourself. So why not just have a more interactive session with other people, with groups of people that are just sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, and all done in a respectful way with the same vision of just succeeding and making their lives better. So I mean, this is the fun part of everything that we're doing.
Yeah, you said it. I totally agree. I'm also very excited to, like you said before, diversify. We're going to be diversifying TradeVibe as well. So for anyone who's interested in either, whether it's forex or crypto or stocks coming in later as well. And the reason why that's coming in later is because you and I are not the experts in stocks. We need to find that perfect fit for the team that can take care of that role. But yeah, so diversifying, that goes in anything, you know, like when it comes to whether you want to diversify from forex to crypto, but also whether you're just trading forex, you need to diversify your portfolio and not only put one egg in all the eggs in the same basket. Can we talk a little bit about your personal, maybe not personal trading overall, but like what is your advice when it comes to diversifying your portfolio? Like, are you doing prop firms? Are you doing private accounts?
Well, look, it's a complex question, very good question that a lot of people ask themselves. So there's multiple ways we can approach that question with different answers. first of all, you have to analyze and identify what kind of person you are, what kind of risk tolerance do you have, how active are you going to be. Some people have other projects or jobs or things they're committed to, so they may not have as much time as people like maybe you and I that are fully committed to trading and investing. So that's one part of the question. The second thing you have to ask yourself is, how much money do you want to make? I mean, some people are not looking to make like life-changing money. They just want to get a little bit of money just to get by with like their bills and stuff like that. Once you've identified those answers, you will have a better idea of what the best solution is for you. Like the trading world, especially in 2023 going into 2024, offers you so many options in how you can get involved. So prop firms is one where you get funded with liquidity at first. So it like speeds up the process of getting paid. Instead of starting with small amounts, you can just pass a challenge and you get access to a more larger amount of money. And now if you want to talk like more in the crypto space, you can like either treat crypto like a piggy bank. You can just put smaller amount of money every day or every week or every month, and that stacks up over time, and you'll have a percentage gain on it. So it's like it's a diversification, but on a more dollar cost average basis.
Yeah, basically, instead of like buying with full power for one price, you will diversify the price. Yeah, the same thing when I was loading up my car yesterday at the gas station. When I picked you up, I also didn't fill the gas all the way up because I wanted to diversify even on this small scheme. That's what I'm also, every time I talk about this, you get so much out of trading in real life as well. You can always diversify even the small things.
I mean, like if let's say the price of gas is high at the station, you can just put a little bit of money to get by for like a day or two, wait until the price drops, and you save yourself a couple of dollars.
Exactly, because I saw the gas and I was like, that's way too high. Like, I'm not going to put it all the way up because maybe tomorrow it'll be lower and then I'll fill it up. So diversify.
It's principles that applies to all areas of life.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, so there's multiple ways to approach crypto, and obviously all of that I'll be trying my best to share it with the community and the people involved. But you're more, I know like we go way back from the forex world, and we've tried so many strategies, we've tried so many indicators. So you know how usually people get experience there's two ways you can get experience, either by getting a mentor or like trying yourself.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, so and we chose the hard road.
We didn't have a choice, I would say.
Yeah, because we didn't know anybody back then. So that's why like with my community, what I do, and I feel like I understand more people that way, is whenever I speak with anybody, I just see them as myself when I first started. Because I was like, what would me 10 years ago or almost 10 years ago would like to hear? And what would help that person accelerate his journey? So I got to learn that over time. But yeah, we chose the hard path, and a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of challenges. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and like you said, we chose the hard path, and like I also said, we didn't have much of a choice, and that brings me to what I'm about to say, is that right now in 2023, almost going to 2024, it's never been easier to learn how to trade and become successful faster than what we did, because you have more tools, you have more brokers that are offering better packages, and you can learn from people that has been through what we've been through. Because back when we started out, not many were good at forex. So how can you get a mentor when we start out when there's no to mentor?
Exactly.
There's no one mentoring because you haven't learned anything yet. Like, we're all like barely like getting out of the eggshell, if you will. And that's also why I think making a community like TradeVibe is a good, timing is right, because of the fact that we know all this stuff and there's all these tools available for you. And yeah, so it's a perfect time for anyone who's looking to get into forex or looking to get better at forex, or someone who maybe started trading many years ago but left it and now are considering to come back to trading. It's a great time to learn how to trade and make some money.
Yeah, and also one thing I can add is that like we didn't start yesterday. We've had a fair share of experience I know that human beings are always in a learning stage. So like we're never going to be done learning. There's still a lot for us to figure out, but we have enough experience to share with other people with a certain amount of confidence. So it's like we've tried so many options, so that whenever a newbie or somebody with less experience comes to see us, there's not a lot of questions we won't be able to answer, because most of it, like, we went through it ourselves. And I mean, I dare anybody to challenge me, like, yo, ask me something and I'll pretty much all the time or most of the time I'll be able to give you an answer because either I've done it or I've seen it with other people. We've seen so many people come in and go in that industry or in my environment. I've seen a lot of people try trading and give up. So, and I mean, if we're still standing here today, just that is a receipt or proof of us and our abilities, don't you think?
100% agree. I mean, we started like almost 10 years ago. And the fact that we're still sitting here talking about trading all those years later just is the testament to what you just said, that we know what we're talking about, we know what we're doing, and we live off of trading, and we provide our families and whatnot and ourselves with the money we make from trading. So that is a testament. And that is something I also want to emphasize, is that TradeVibe is a very different community than any other community you see on Telegram or Instagram. We have put in thousands of dollars before we even are making any money out of this at all, even before we launch. And that just goes to show how much we want to succeed with this product, not only from our personal gain, but also from a personal, from a perspective of the trading community. We want to see it grow. We want to see people make some money and learn a thing or two. That is the goal. And make some awesome products to the people, physical products and non-physical products, trading robots, trading applications. I have a huge goal of mine is to compete with TradingView, which is a platform that we both use, that almost any trader are using, and I think they set the bar all the way up here, and it's a good one to look at when you want to try to perfect a product in the trading industry. They're like the big brother of trading products, don't you think?
I definitely agree, and their tools are only gonna get better, especially now with AI. So there's definitely gonna be ways to enhance the tools that we use to automate a lot of things that we do, and that's gonna come with time, of obviously, I'm sure. And yeah, I mean, I also wanted to ask you, like, so we have a combined experience of like almost a lifetime worth of chart hours and trials and error, but like for somebody that maybe doesn't have that much of experience, what would you tell them? Or like, if let's say somebody's like, hey, that like they're watching me right now on the camera, and I'm like, okay, yeah, these guys have been doing it for a while. I haven't. What do I need to know right now? Like, should I pursue this or not?
Yeah, good question, and very important question as well, because you shouldn't be intimidated by the fact that we've been trading for 10 years. You don't need to trade for 10 years in order to be sitting in a couch like this and talking on a podcast like this. You don't have to. You can go by with great mentors, and joining TradeVibe or even any other legitimate communities is a great way to start. It's a great stepping stone in the right direction. So what I would say for anyone just starting out is take it a little bit easier than what you probably want to do, because you probably want to be a millionaire by tomorrow. I'm telling you that it is not possible. It doesn't matter how good you are or what industry you're choosing. You're not going to become a millionaire by tomorrow. You can become a millionaire in forex. It's very doable. It's very achievable. But it takes a little bit of practice, and you can learn how to trade and make some money at the same time. That's also why I love communities like this one, because that is a good place to trade and earn some money, but also learn at the same time, which is something I wish I had when I started out trading. I needed to pay bills, I needed to do this and this and that, and I also had to learn how to trade at the same time. If I had the bills being taken care of me by someone telling me what to do on the market on a daily basis, then I would probably learn how to trade faster. Although it would have set me on another path, and therefore I wouldn't be sitting here right now. But still, it's easier today to do that. So to anyone who's considering joining a community like ours, take it easy. And yeah,
Jacob is gonna pay your bills. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think you should say that. No, I won't pay your bills, but I will help you to pay your own bills, for sure. And TradeVibe and the rest of the team and Nadim will help you as well, doing that by yourself. Yeah, that is definitely something I can promise.
Yeah, and you know what's fun is like we are already doing that ourselves for ourselves, and just leaving something positive to other people. I think it's just something as an individual you should. It's our duty and responsibility to share around the knowledge. I mean, we don't want to see humanity fail, so we need to collaborate and help each other. And to help each other in different areas of life. So whether it's financial, personal, and it would be very selfish of anyone to keep everything for themselves. So whether it's I know there's a lot of people that do it and they just share information left and right, and I love that. I mean, obviously, some information may not be as good as others, but I think we're qualified enough to share stuff about whether it's charts, trading, discipline, principles, and it doesn't just stop at the trading part itself. I believe because we've seen also what it takes from a personal point of view as well, what it takes to make it in this industry, how to survive this industry, how to navigate this industry.
We just had to get some coffee because this is episode number 1, and I completely forgot to even offer our guest any drinks, anything at all. And he literally flew all the way from Canada, and he must have some kind of jet lag, so we got some coffee.
I appreciate this a lot, by the way.
Are you feeling better now?
I needed it. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of jet lag, you are literally across the Atlantic. Like, how do you like Copenhagen so far?
Feels a lot like Montreal. I definitely like the time zone for trading purposes. So that's definitely something that Copenhagen or Denmark has over Montreal. Like I feel like I could just wake up and do my stuff, like work out, have my coffee, and then tackle the charts. In Montreal, usually I just wake up and jump right away to the charts. But I mean, you've been doing that for a long time, so you would know how easier it is to be living here, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the best time zone, in my opinion, to trade the forex market. So if you're from Europe, then you are in luck, especially because London is what most people are focusing a lot about, and then the opening of New York, which overlaps each other. So it's a great opportunity for anyone in London to trade that as well.
Do you have any lucky sessions?
Where can you define lucky?
Sure. Basically, where sessions you've had the biggest wins.
Sure. Definitely the overlap between New York and London. I think that one is the easiest one because it's the one that moves the most. So if I had any trades open during London, they will usually hit the take profit at New York. But other trade sessions that are pretty fun is Asia. It doesn't move as much, but it's ranging a lot and it's more predictable to scalp the market, I would say, during those kind of markets.
Definitely, I agree. And I mean, this is also a benefit that forex has over crypto. The sessions are very predictable. While in crypto, since it's a 24/7 market, you could be out on a Saturday night having the time of your life, and then crypto markets goes crazy, and you're losing 10% of your net worth in a matter of minutes. So that's a big downside.
Yeah, but when it comes to forex, it's not open during the weekend, which is what I truly love about forex. Why I haven't really moved to crypto at all, because I'm a fan of crypto. Don't get me wrong, but I don't trade it the same way as Nadim does. I stick to forex because I love taking my time off during the weekend and not have to worry about any market because the market isn't moving.
And over time, I've tried many sessions, and I'm sure you did too. And honestly, it's like, you have so many opportunities across so many sessions that at the end of the day, you can just pick one and stick with it the rest of your life. I know some people who just focus on the New York Open. Within 5 minutes, they're done. They're in and out of their trade. And then it's like, okay, we can move on with the rest of our day. And this is something that you learn about yourself over time. What is the number one thing that you've done personally in your life to help you get closer to life? Not to life, to your goals. Because 10 years ago, I mean, we started almost 10 years ago. We were little kids. We were ignorant. We were stupid. I mean, everybody is at some extent, but you get educated over time and you get more knowledgeable about certain things of life. And just what is the one thing you think, or many things, that helped you get closer or more disciplined in your trading habits? Is there something in particular?
Routines.
Can you elaborate?
Well, I remember the time where I elevated my trading the most was also when I was more focused on my mind and body. So working out and doing that at a certain time of day and doing a certain amount of time during the week would make me disciplined. Even like making my bed in the morning, because like making your bed is so simple. So if your day is going opposite, then at least you did something like making your bed.
I agree.
So, and drinking a lot of water.
Drink your water.
Like stay hydrated. Yeah, I would say becoming disciplined in things outside of forex will also help your trading career as well, without a doubt.
Do you feel that trading caused that discipline, or is it like discipline that got you to become a better trader?
Good question. It's me wanting to be better in life so that I can focus more probably on trading. So I'm motivated to be better in life because of trading, but I also feel like my life is not at the right track while trading, so I have to do all these things at the same time. So it's kind of like work both ways. I'm motivated to work out in the gym to make me a better trader, but I'm also working out because I'm a trader.
Yeah, and I believe that being disciplined, I mean, it's not just to become a good trader. Anything, any art, any skill set you want to develop in life, you need a certain set of discipline. You know, there's this saying where you have two choices. You can live the pain of regret or the pain of discipline. Because if you don't do your shit right, if you butcher your job, you're gonna live the pain of regret. Maybe you didn't start that project you wanted to work on. You didn't take the risk of doing something or launching a new venture, and you could live with the pain of regret the rest of your life. There's things that I personally have regretted for a long time. On the other hand, there's also the pain of discipline, where yes, having some sort of routine becomes boring over time, and it sucks to some people, and there's days where it's going to be harder than others, but that discipline compounds over time, and it compounds both ways, in good actions and bad actions, good behaviors and bad behaviors. So sticking with the routine, I believe, is a formula to see compounded growth, whether it's personally or financially. It works the same way. It's a universal law, I believe.
Yeah, and making a good habit usually just takes about 30 days. The first 30 days are going to be the hard ones, and then after that, it becomes a habit. And if it's a good one, then you should stick with it.
On some other topic now, we're two very logical guys, and obviously not everybody's like that. So I've had to deal with people that come to me and ask me questions about trading from an emotional standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Now, emotions and logic are two separate things. Most men are gonna be logical. Most women are gonna be emotional. Obviously, there's exceptions, and there's people that
Watch out, buddy. Watch out.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm fully aware of that. It's obviously there's a balance of people for both. There's people who have mastered the art of being emotional and rational at the same time, and I admire these people a lot. But in trading, do you think you can do it if you're only emotional or only rational?
Ooh, good question. I think, that's a good question. Emotions are usually the ones that makes you make the worst decisions, but sometimes having emotions can also make you stay out of certain trades, where a robot, for instance, that have no emotions would go in and they would get run over. I believe I would rather be less emotional and then more logical, because fear of greed or fear of losing money, all those things are emotions, and those are bad emotions. If you have fear of losing money, you're probably trading too much or having too high of a risk. You're probably affording too much that you can't afford. I mean, risking too much that you can't afford. But you also still need some kind of emotions, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I think I'm gonna say something that I've never said before, but I'm not even sure if it's a correct answer, but maybe an 80-20 ratio between logic and emotions, because there's times where emotions, yes, they're gonna cause you trouble, but isn't markets are made out are a reflection of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever, like you said, fear and greed, they're the two main active components of a market. They're what drive markets in both directions. So the 80-20, let me explain the 80-20 ratio. The 20% understanding of emotions is that you understand how the market is emotional. And by logically understanding the emotions of a market, you can apply rational and logical thinking.
For sure. Yeah.
You can apply the rational and logical thinking to take advantage of that emotional side of the markets.
Yeah. Also, because you can use that against the retail traders. The banks are using what they know how the retail will react, so they trap them using the reverse of emotions, probably. But also 80-20 rule. I remember that rule go for something else.
For a lot of things.
Fundamental versus technicals.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
So yeah, I remember we always talked about how much does fundamental analysis play a role in forex trading versus technical analysis, and we always say that it's about 20-80. Do you still stick with 20-80, or do you think it's more 50-50?
For fundamentals, I mean, look.
By the way, we should maybe explain a little bit about what fundamentals are.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Well, fundamentals are news-related topics or what's happening in the world, world economies, banks, and big corporations, and overall just countries that are moving money or, political events. Those are fundamental things that are happening. Technical is obviously everything that isn't about fundamentals. So analysis,
Chart analysis.
yeah, charts basically, chart analysis.
Analyzing the charts. Like there for a long period of time, I didn't believe in fundamentals, and a part of me still doesn't. Let me explain why. Just like how we used the example of understanding emotions. I mean, yeah, in that case, we could do 80-20 fundamentals with the same logic, where understanding how a fundamental event can affect the price behavior of a market by using that to our advantage in 80% rational thinking, where logical thinking, where we can take advantage of knowing beforehand that a fundamental event could move the market. But waiting for the news event to come to then trade it, no, you're too late. I mean, there's algos and bots that are reacting in milliseconds right now. Like people are fighting over milliseconds. So no, it doesn't make sense to trade just based on fundamental events. In crypto, though, as a crypto investor, fundamentals will play a role differently. It's mostly called tokenomics. Basically, it's the economics of tokens, and depending on the amount of the amount of supply that is available, how much is available on chain right now, how much are kept for later releases, what's the distribution rate, what's the team, who are the people behind a certain project. All that can play a role in how a token performs, but that's mostly for long-term investing. For day tradings or in like shorter time frame trading, price action trumps. I mean, price action is number one.
Yeah, price action number one. I agree 100%. That's also something we're going to be talking about a lot more in the TradeVibe community, where when we're educating or doing webinars 101 or full classes of students that Nadim can teach, we're going to be talking about price action, price movement. We firmly believe in that. So we are probably more of a gang of 80-20 yet. We still agree on that?
I mean, 80-20 it's a known ratio, and it's applicable in all areas of life.
Do you think that ratio goes for risk to reward as well?
Risk to reward?
80-20?
80% risk, 20% reward?
No, yeah. No, the other way. 80% reward, 20% risk.
Sure.
So so for those who don't understand risk to reward, now this is not going to be a educational podcast, at least not this episode, but risk to reward is basically your risk versus your reward. Are you getting 3 times the amount of money back when you're trading versus when you're losing, or is it the other way, or is it neutral 1-to-1, or is it 3-to-1? So that's what I was talking about.
It's about maximizing returns and minimizing the risk.
Exactly. And that's something we are really good at TradeVibe, is to make sure that our winners, we let them run and we cut our losers short. That is something we go by.
Exactly, definitely. I mean, a lot of people focus on the win rate. You come and you want to learn how to trade. You think that, oh yeah, I'm going to have the strategy that wins 100% of the time. I'm never going to lose. I'm going to have all my trades right. But buddy, like that doesn't exist. It's a dream that people think there's a holy grail, but like unfortunately there's not. I mean, it's a question of probabilities, using math and numbers to your advantage in order to generate a certain amount of return. So it's a mix. I mean, this is risk management basically, but having like a consistent type of win rate, it doesn't have to be 100%. There's traders that make money with like 40% win rate.
Have you ever had anyone asking you what's your winning percentage?
All the time.
Yeah, what do you say to them?
Honestly,
make it like short. What do you say to those people when they ask that question, because it comes from like being not educated?
Yeah, exactly, definitely. I say around 6, depending on the seasons. I know I have months where I usually perform better than others, but around 60 to 70%. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that I have losers. I do lose sometimes, and even since I have a community, I do share a lot of my setups and analysis publicly before they actually play out. So like I'm personally willing to accept the loss, and that's why I try to like tell people, like, buddy, it's gonna happen, you're gonna lose, accept it, but it's not the end of the road.
Yeah. If a new person, not a new person, but like a newbie coming over to you and asking you a question, and I'm gonna name the answers, like, okay, so would you rather let them ask you about what's your winning percentage, or what's your RR / risk to reward, or what's your pip count monthly? What would you rather answer? Which question would you rather answer that could potentially showcase you as a trader if you have to
I
answer
mean,
that
look,
question?
if I wanted to be a scammer, I'd flex my dollar amount and pips amounts. That
Yeah.
is if I wanted to be a scammer. But the reality is that that's the least important part.
So USD, that's usually what people would do if they are having these groups on Telegram and whatnot. They're gonna use the amount of money they made, and they're not gonna tell you. So they'll probably use like a huge trade volume, so a lot size, to get like quick like 10 pip trades with like huge returns. But overall, like their risk reward was terrible.
Exactly. So no, for somebody that understands the game and that has been part of the industry for a long time, understand that it's a combination of risk to reward versus and win rate percentage and how much you're risking per trade. It has to be something consistent. It has to be a consistent number. So yeah, I mean it's boring to approach it that way, but that's the only way to survive.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we are not looking for 100% win rate either. I mean, anyone who are trying to do that is just setting up for failure. I can't tell you exactly what our winning rate will be, but I can tell you that we're going to be making more money that we're going to be losing because that's what we do best. That's how we trade. We have a good risk to reward. So that's what we're going to be doing. So don't focus on the winning percentage. Focus more on what you're earning when you're winning, and focus also on what you're losing when you're losing.
And you know, like there's also understanding the risk part. Since we know we're not gonna be winning, or nobody wins 100% of the time. Anybody who claims that wins 100% of the time is a total liar. But since we know that risk is part of the game, and let's define risk. I mean, risk is available or is everywhere in life. Just you waking up in the morning and choosing to like put your front foot in first before the left foot will imply a certain risk for the rest of your day and the rest of your life. So same thing with trading. You don't like there's a certain level of predictability that you don't have control over. And knowing that, you use that information to your advantage. So people who don't understand that concept will go all in all the time, and you're going to get burnt out, and that's why you quit. That's why the majority ends up quitting. But if you know that there's this unpredictable or uncertainty, you know, there's a quote that says the only certainty is uncertainty.
For
and
sure.
going on that certainty, that the only certainty is uncertainty, well, you can approach the markets in a certain way that will help you survive a long time and make money along the way. And
100%.
there's going to be month where the return is not as much as you expected, but there's also going to be times and months where you're going to go way above.
So it
what you
evens out.
expect.
So you go.
It evens out and even more profitable. I mean, you know, like the traditional markets, like for example the S&P or the Dow Jones, they go up on average 10 to 12% a year.
Yeah.
They say that as long as you beat that, you beat the markets.
Yeah.
So as long as you make over 12% a year, you beat the majority. And just look at the financial the sheet from major institutions. You're gonna see that not a lot of them go over that. So you as a person, like in your mind, you're so obsessed to make 10 grand with like $1,000. I mean, if you can accomplish that once, you beat you beat bigger players than you, because it's not about the amount of money you made. It's about the percentage that you made. So if you're able to flip 1,000 to 10,000, well, good for you. But if you try to do the same thing over and over again, you're gonna end up losing your money, because the way that money works, it's not gonna work out in your favor over the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So applying a consistent risk over time on your trades, how much you're risking per trade, whether it's in pips, in money, in dollar values, in percentages. I'd rather go with percentages, risking a consistent amount of percent. So this is what will help you survive over time. And you know, there's like the 1% rule, risk 1% per trade. It's going to take you 100 trades to bust. What are the odds of losing 100 trades in a row if you risk like 1% from the starting amount?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you lose 100%, if you lose 100 trades in a row, I mean, maybe on that note, maybe trading is not for you.
It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, even with luck, you can win more than that. So yeah, by risking 1%, it's almost impossible for you to lose everything.
Yeah. Also, on that note, now we're talking about risk reward. Even if you had like 10 losses in a row and you have a good risk reward of 1 to 10. Or let's say 9 losses in a row and you have good risk reward of 1 to 10, you'll still be break even after just 1 win after losing 9 in a row. That's like power right there. If you can stick to that trading plan. And that's also something that's really important. Something we were talking, when I picked you up at the airport, we were talking a little bit about what should we talk about here on the podcast. We talked about what was your biggest, you made it kind of moment in trading. and we talked about, and we can talk about it right now. But we were basically talking about when did it click for you? And to be honest, for me, when it clicked for me with trading was when I stick to the plan for the first time.
Yeah.
When I let a trade ride fully out to what I had initially thought it was going to go, that was when I realized, okay, now I got it. So I think that trade was like a 100 pip move. I think it was the Euro USD, which was a lot. But that was back in 2017-ish, and the Euro USD was moving a lot more than it does right now. But to give a little bit of context, like in what I mean with following the trading plan, many people can write analysis of where their entry is, their take profit, and then their stop loss, and then they'll leave the market earlier than what they wanted, and they'll still see the market will go to what they wanted it, but they left because they're afraid that it's going to go in reverse and go against them. And it's a common psychology from traders around the world that even if you have a trade of 1-to-1 risk reward, where you have 50 pip take profit and 50 pip stop loss, people tend to believe that it's more likely to hit your stop loss than your take profit. So they think that if you see 25% or 25 pips in drawdown right now, so in the red, they'll think it's going to hit 50. But if you see 25 pips in the profit, they're like, there's no way it's going to hit 50 pips right now. I'm going to close early. That's what people say, and people think that's discipline. You need to educate and make yourself understand that if you have your analysis and your plan and you have a good risk to reward, then statistically you will earn the profit that you set out to, because you just have to follow the plan. And that's what I did that back then, that day. That's when it clicked for me. Follow the plan.
Follow the plan, definitely. And I think my plan, I've been respecting, as human beings, it's going to happen that you're going to deviate, but it's being able to put yourself back in your place, being aware of yourself, and not expecting or be accountable, self-accountable. I think that's the right word. I personally, the day that I knew was clicked, I think it happens over a series of events. We spoke about that a long time ago, but when we first started, we were going after like 5 pips trades. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was actually looking for 5 pips a day. Yeah,
we had 5 pips take profit and 50 pips stop losses. This was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like one loss, it would take us over 10 wins to recover. So this is like, we were ignorant back then, and if you understood, then if you know, you know. But yeah, over time, like I knew that I was starting to do the right thing when I was achieving like bigger trades in terms of pips, in terms of risk to reward, in terms of win rate. By having a better number and a more balanced ratio between my win rate and my risk to reward, that's how I knew I was making it. Because yeah, there's times where I focus on like 1-to-10 risk, 1-to-10 ratio trades. It's amazing when you hit one, but it takes a lot more trial and to get one. So it's not as nice, because you're maybe going to be losing 5, 6, 7 times in a row before getting that one trade that covers everything.
Especially if your stop loss is so short, because like even if you want to go for 100 pips, you need only a stop loss of 10 pips in order to do the 1-to-10. So if you're looking for 1,000 pips, yeah, you can have a stop loss of 100, but still, like the likelihood of going 1,000 pips in a short term, it's very unlikely. So that's a long-term trade.
And that's why you need to find a balance. So over time, like right now, what I do mostly is like 1 to 3. My trades average around 1 to 3. So basically, whatever amount of risking I'm trying to make around 3 times. There's going to be trades where it's going to be a bit over 3. There's going to be trades where it's under 3. I never go something with 1-to-1 and under. Like if I know I'm going to be making just as much as I'm risking, it's not worth it in my opinion, because the markets are already risky enough. The markets, are already unpredictable. It's going to maybe hurt your psychology. There's so much like side effects of potentially losing a trade. So a 1-to-1 risk to reward is not worth it. When you aim for a positive reward, a positive ratio, you're including stuff that are not quantified in money. Like for example, the fear, the energy, the time input, stuff that are outside how much money you're invested. Because when you take a trade, you're not just invested money wise. You're invested personally. You're invested with your time, with your energy. There's going to be time where you're going to be spending in front of your computer, monitoring. Maybe there's going to be days where you're going to be waking up in the middle of the night and to check on your trades.
Yeah.
All that costs energy. And imagine like going for like waking up in the middle of the night to check your trade for a 1-to-1 trade. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Just plain stupid. It's not worth it in my opinion.
And well, honestly, if you would want to take a 1-to-1, risk a lot less than what you would usually do. Maybe risk 1/10 of what you would usually risk.
Yeah, but at that point, it's like pocket money, because
It's what you used to call it, coffee money
coffee money. Yeah,
back in the day.
we started with coffee money, where we would make enough money to pay for coffee, and now here we
It's
are
it's
traveling.
2
And
coffees money now.
now it's just 2 coffees, 2 extra large coffees maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe Danish coffees, because coffee is so expensive here.
Coffee is very expensive here in Copenhagen. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all part of the journey. I mean, it's you increase the you get to know yourself better. You get to find your sweet spot in trading. You get to make more money over time. You're always gonna remember that first $100 day, that first $1,000 day, that first 10,000. Not just dollars. It could be pips also. Like I remember my first 1,000 pips trade. My first there's many ways to quantify this success. And obviously, it's just part of the journey. There's no end goal for that. The end goal is just what you personally desire and what you personally want to achieve.
Does profit matter the same way to you today? That
No, definitely not. Profit, I mean, it's just a byproduct of playing the game. My fun right now is beating the markets.
So what makes you get out of bed in the morning and trade today versus back then?
Knowing I'm going to hunt. I'm going to hunt and I'm going to play the game we call markets.
You care more about being right about the market today than making the money?
I know I'm not always going to be right. So it's not about being right. It's about being able to understand what they were trying to do on that day. This is my fun. It's because we know that markets, it's a bunch
Key
of...
role, you have fun while you're doing it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you have a lot of fun.
It's a passion.
Yeah.
So it's like a game for me. It's my game. It's my obsession. And I think having a little bit of obsession was required to still be where I am today. But being able to wake up and just looking at these charts and understanding what these players, the participants of the markets, are trying to do, and being able, it's like you watch a movie and you predict the ending.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, yeah, I was right. I knew they were going to do that. So, yeah, but obviously, like, you will enjoy or you'll be more satisfied when you know you got it right. But that's not the thrill. The thrill is trying to understand it. And, I mean, obviously, getting it right is just the a positive outcome of that game. So, yeah, you were right. You made money and everybody's happy and you move on.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's talent required with trading, or does it all just result in hard work?
I mean, talent can be created over time.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm the type of person who would think that hard work always beat talent. Like, it's a cliche.
Well,
Many people say that.
No, for sure. I mean, if you, whatever work or whatever skill you put the hard work and the hours in, becomes a talent, no?
Some industries, people will say that there's a bit of luck into making it and do this and this and that. When it comes to forex, I would say there's not really much about luck. It's all about dedication and working on your craft and become better at trading every day, building your capital, and also staying true to not spending it because you're building it, and do all those things.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if we want to talk about luck, that's a whole other topic. But
yeah, if you want to talk about luck, go gamble. Trading is not gambling, guys.
Exactly.
So if anyone wondering out there that what we do for a living is gambling, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're wrong. It's not gambling. We know what we're doing. And
it has a speculative nature, but by objectifying the speculation, you put the probabilities in your favor.
For sure, yeah. By the way, do you want to talk a little bit about? Do you remember the flash crash back in the day?
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Yeah.
October 7th, 2016.
October 7th, 2016.
I think.
Damn, that must have haunted you.
Fun fact about me, a lot of my memories or like past life events, I associate them with charts, especially with Bitcoin's charts ever since I started following, because I've been following Bitcoin every day for the last 7 years.
I actually remember the first time you made 100 pips. It was on the USD CAD.
USD CAD is one of my favorite.
Yeah, you made
pairs,
100 pips.
I do believe that.
That was way earlier than me, by the way.
The first 100 pips?
Yeah. I think you did like a year before I did, because I was focusing more on the scalping.
Yes, you were.
And you wanted to go a little bit more intraday, long-term-ish.
Yeah, and I remember how we started on like super small time frames, and then we were
1 minute time frames.
The 1 minute and 5 minutes. Then like at some point we added the 15 minutes. We were like, oh my god, like the 15 minutes time frame can help us so much. And then we added the hour and then the 4 hours, and that's where I started navigating into the higher time frames. I was like, what if I hold the trade based on a higher time frame and just try to going that direction? And it's like now that I remind myself of those moments, like somebody, like if I had a proper mentor, that person
They're
would
gonna
have
told you that right away.
right away. But
Yeah.
it took us like weeks or months to discover that on our own.
You know, we also one time put a lot of faith into indicators. I wish someone could have
Yes.
told us back then, don't do it, guys. It's fine if you want to understand how they work from that standpoint, but in terms of finding a holy grail
Mm-hmm.
through indicators, well, first of all, they're lacking. But we thought that adding more indicators to the charts will make them less lacky. It does the opposite. It'll make it even more lacky because if you need to wait for more confirmations, you will have to sit and wait forever, and then the move is already, done.
Understanding the psychology of a market is number one. You can definitely add indicators, but don't make it your number one reason to execute on a trade. It's definitely like a backup argument,
Yeah.
but definitely don't make it the main argument. Yeah, that indicator is telling me to buy. No, I mean the indicators give a lot of false, false indications, so and false trades. So don't follow indicators blindly. Use them as maybe some extra confirmation. But yeah, price action trumps about everything. So
Are you using any indicators to do your charting today?
today I do use some indicators, but like I said, they're not my main reason of execution.
What kind of indicators?
It's a mix. I mostly focus on the candles, to be honest.
For sure.
So candles are my indicator in a sense where I know that the markets react, or I look for a certain type of reaction around certain components of a candle. So the candlestick is my indicator. I could have maybe some RSI on the side, some moving averages, but they're really not my main focus. Like it's like, yeah, if I see something, a tip maybe I could give people that use indicator or would like to use indicators is maybe apply a reverse, what I call a reverse analysis on it. Is like use the indicator. Maybe if it's flashing you a signal, pay more attention to it and do like a reverse analysis. Go use that indicator as a main point of like research, then analyze the market as if we would have analyzed it without the indicator, because maybe it gave you a confirmation and then like you got the actual execution triggers from your candles itself, from the psychology of the market, but never use like never blindly execute trades just on indicators.
Yeah. Back in the day, I was a huge fan of moving averages. You were calling me like the god of moving averages because you thought I understood them better than anyone else.
Do you remember the rainbow?
Yeah, I do. From the room that we met each other in, the rainbow.
No,
bridge.
not that. At some point, you had so many indicators.
Right. Yeah.
On top of each other, it looked like a rainbow.
Yeah.
Or like waves.
On TradingView, I remember
Yeah.
I was paying so much money monthly to have those indicators. That was crazy. I remember one day. We were using them, and it was so stressful to use them because I think I was making on a day 5%. But in order for me to make that, I had to come back from drawdown because I think we started out like losing 10%. So imagine like climbing back from being down 10% to then being profit 5%. And I think we had done like 20 trades.
Yeah, that's what like blindly trusting indicators without proper management it's not gonna work out. You may hit a lucky streak, but it's not like there's an end to this travel to this good time or whatever you want to call it. We were talking about the flash crash before.
Mm-hmm.
That we didn't really elaborate on it.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
It was the pound that crashed, right?
Yeah.
The pound crashed. It's a couple
You know
hundred
why?
pips.
Do you know why it crashed?
You sold? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's called a fat finger, right? There's a lot of pending orders that got triggered by mistake, which basically just caused it to fall down.
Cascades of liquidation.
Like I think it was like 1,200 pips it went down.
In a matter of like 1-2 minutes, it was
no seconds, and then had to correct itself up, so it went another like 1,000 pips up.
True.
But like it went down like split seconds, and the reason why I know that is because even then, when it happened, because of the fat finger, the flash crash, it happened so fast that even your own stop loss would experience slippage. So if you had like, let's say a stop loss of 100 pips, because of like how quickly it happened, you could have ended up losing like 500 pips. And that's something that's super, super tough to realize, that it can happen at any time. But something that we keep in mind when trading is to diversify portfolio and don't keep all the eggs in one basket, as we talked about earlier. Because it's super important to make sure that you don't have everything in one, because of that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I was risking like a few percent, and it slipped so much it like caused me to lose almost double.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. You were sleeping when that happened.
Yeah, I was sleeping and I actually blew my account from it.
Wow.
Yeah, my account got blown up completely. I think I lost like we can talk about numbers here. It's fine. It's TradeVibe. We want to be transparent. I had built my trading account at that time since we had met each other in that room where we also met our friend Matt, and shout out to Matt. I had built my account from $500 all the way up to like $23,000, and I think I blew it on that trade. I remember.
You know why?
Why?
You didn't respect risk management.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, going from $500 to $23,000 in a couple of months, like 2 months, it's possible, but there's a lot of risk involved to do that.
Exactly.
But it's possible. I'm a proof. But yeah, that was crazy. That hurt, and something that really made me keep going, because this is the most important part of taking a loss, is to keep going, especially if loss happens and you weren't like, and you were still respecting your reward and risk and all that stuff, then it happens, and it didn't happen for any reason. It just happened. And therefore, in those moments, you need people around you, like good people that are like-minded and can help you to stay focused and keep on going, because those kind of situations are what can break some people and like quit trading. But also keep in mind, this doesn't happen very often, and it doesn't mean it has to happen to you, because it hasn't happened to me since. And that's like almost like 8 years ago.
Flash crashes did happen a few times in the last
but not to
decade.
me, at least.
I actually caught one. So the first one in 2016?
Yeah, it was in 2016, yeah.
16, yeah. So yeah, we got destroyed by that one. I mean, we're always going to remember that day. But I remember also catching the flash crash in the proper direction a few years later. And I was so proud of myself, because that first crash haunted me so much. I almost had nightmares about it. But catching it a few years later, it's like I got my revenge. I got my satisfaction. But in general, flash crashes will almost all the time happen with the trend. So if you follow the trend and you ride it long enough, you are going to catch a crash. But like, if a crash was to happen, you're more likely to be correct about it. And one thing that I've also noticed is that whenever these flash crashes happen, they also indicate a top or a bottom.
Right.
Why? Because there's extreme imbalancement in the market, because the market is a balance of supply and demand. So whenever something goes way overextended one way, it implies an overextension of supply or demand. So at that point, the market has to correct, or is very likely to correct, because something got either extremely overvalued or extremely undervalued. And I have to say extremely, because a flash crash, like, it's just an insane move. I mean, we may see and witness more of them in the future. I mean, in crypto, it happens a lot more often. They don't label it as flash crashes, but it definitely feels like one. So there's just like, you're gonna see like an insanely big candle at the top or at the bottom of a trend, and then the market corrects itself. So it's this dynamic that always happens in the market, and you can apply the same concept on higher time frames and smaller time frames. So yeah, these flash crashes, I mean, you don't know when they're gonna happen, but if you apply proper principles and a proper approach to markets, then you could eventually catch one. Now, this was like one of our biggest losses in our early days. What about like your earliest wins?
Well, so yeah, one of my earliest wins that I remember that stands out was the one where I made 100 pips. It wasn't at that time that much money, but it was still me following my rules and see that through. That was a huge win for me. But I also remember we did a trade one time where I was in the news, and I caught it by luck, because it was cat news, and I was in before the news, and I didn't even know that we had news. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember
and
that.
I come back to my charts. I think I went to get some food or something downstairs in my kitchen, and then I come up and I see I'm up like, I don't know, like 200 pips or something, and I think I made like, do you remember, like, it was like $40,000 or something? I put my account to like 60K or something.
Yeah, it was
70K.
It was something like that. But
this was, by the way, after the flash crash. This was when I had to rebuild the whole thing.
Definitely. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, Mama, we made it. No,
yeah.
But,
so it took my account like to new levels that I hadn't seen before, and from there it took me from well over 100,000 back then.
Do you think witnessing that, because this was probably one of your biggest trades in the early days.
Yeah, that was huge.
Did it unlock something in yourself or in your mind or in your perspective of trading, personal anything?
Well, first of all, going from 20 or 40 to from 20 to 60 or from 40 to 80 or something like that. When you do something like that and it's not based on your skills, you feel fortunate and you feel like you don't deserve it. You feel lucky.
Interesting.
Because that trade shouldn't have happened. Like if I were on my charts, I would have closed before news and I would have never made that trade. So, but it definitely did still kick something. It started some momentum for me because that's when, after that happened, it was a lot easier for me to take the account to over 100K. Because now I think it was at 60K. Now going to 120, I only need 100% at that time. But before I needed like 300-400% to go to 100K. So that literally boosted me into knowing that it's definitely possible to get an account to over 100,000. But after that, I was being more careful with news as well. I took it more serious because I also realized I could have easily been the other direction. And this, at that point, if you don't know what you're doing and you still make money out of it, yeah, you're lucky in that moment, but you might as well just end up burning yourself, and that's gambling to me.
It's gonna come back and bite you.
Yeah, that's gambling. You gotta really like stay out of that, I would say.
Yeah, definitely, and we see that a lot in crypto during like bull runs. You have a lot of what I call stupid donkeys or monkeys that just are lucky to catch a big trade, and they think that they understand markets and that they're God and that they can now make infinite money. But I mean, a market has a strange way of humbling everybody at some point. So it's perfectly normal to feel unbeatable or invincible early on, but if you continue and you will get humbled at some point by the markets, especially with crypto, because you doubled money or whatever you like in a single trade, which is very awesome
and rare.
But in crypto, imagine hitting your first 10x, your first 100x. So they don't happen like hitting a 10x can happen in a relatively short amount of time, like not minutes, but probably like days or a few weeks. But 100x, like I've seen 100x in front of my eyes and what it can do to people. Some people will just like, I mean, I've seen it myself. I mean, I don't even have to use other people, where you invest a little bit of money and you see that 100x. So you add 2 zeros to that initial investment. This is insane. I mean, never in history have we witnessed an industry that is able to provide that. So that's why I'm fully committed to crypto, because...
And it's also very scary because what really it motivates people to try and replicate something that has already happened. So if they hear about someone who made like 1,000x, it happens, they're gonna be like, yo, I want to do that too. So they use all their money, put their life savings into some stupid coin that got promoted. And it also embarks fire in scammers to create communities and things like that to promote businesses like that. But that's the greed part. That's the emotion of greed that people, and the fear of missing out.
But you know how you can hit 100x?
How?
By having consistent risk, consistent positive ratio, and what was the third one? Risk reward ratio and consistent risk. So by having all three elements, you can, if you're going for 100x, you can place $1 on 100 coins. In crypto, you can get 100x more than once.
You were talking about something on our drive from the airport, the 3Ds, right?
Yeah. The discipline, drive, and dedication. I don't know if it was the correct order, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, the 3Ds, and it goes well for everything trading related, even everything trading and business overall. Like
just personal development.
Yeah. Speaking of personal developments, like, is there anything that you've learned from trading that you can use in your personal life today?
Everything. Trading opened my eyes to wanting to become the person I am today. And because I became who I am today, I feel like I'm finding more success in my trading journey. So they come hand in hand. And whether you want to become a trader or a plumber or electrician or a CEO of a company, you need a certain set of discipline. So discipline is definitely my personal number one, most important thing in somebody's life. And also that you should have no fear. Make fear not your best friend, but like turn fear into something friendlier, because fear blocks a lot of people from wanting to do stuff.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
And I've never asked you this question before, actually.
Damn, I'm scared. No, I'm just kidding.
Have you ever considered quitting?
Ooh. Never. No, that would be a total lie. Yes, I've considered quitting so many times.
And what do you do, and how do you stay motivated in situations like that?
When I feel like quitting,
Yeah.
I don't quit.
Yeah, but how do you make yourself not do that when so many are?
Whenever I feel like quitting, I tell myself I don't quit.
But I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't feel that
I
way
understand your
anymore.
question.
You know, like
No,
feeling like
there's-
quitting now is like now we cracked the code, literally. Like we're making money. We're making money for trading for a living, and we do it well, and we can pay our bills and all that stuff that goes with it.
Yeah,
So
but-
now we don't quit. But like back when you weren't making it yet, like when you were thinking about quitting, like what did you do to make yourself not quit?
Dude, there's always gonna be times where I feel like quitting. Even I am making money out of it. It's like sometimes it's just it becomes easier to navigate these waves, but trading doesn't become easier necessarily as a market itself. It becomes easier on how you approach it and how you handle it. That's the easier part, but it never becomes like easy as like something else that's simple. I don't know. There's nothing that comes to mind. But whenever I feel like quitting, I just remind myself of why I started all of that.
Yeah. Also, all the years spent.
All the years spent.
Yeah.
It's like imagine starting everything from scratch. Like I had a moment not long ago where like, so I turned 30 a few months ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Belated birthday.
I wish you happy birthday, didn't I?
You did. You
Yeah.
did. I think so.
Ooh.
We'll check on that later.
We'll check it.
But regardless, I accept your birthdays. Or you know what? I'm just not gonna wish you happy birthday, and we'll be even.
Dude, we literally just spent time in LA, and I probably bought you a cake over there or something. Wagyu meat or something.
That's
that was your
true.
birthday gift.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Then thank you very much.
No worries.
We just made it official on the podcast. When I turned 30, I had a moment in a talk with myself where I asked myself, it's like, okay, so I started trading. I was 2021. I was like, now I just turned 30. What if I had to start from scratch? So I considered that scenario. I was like, what if I had to start from scratch at my age today? Am I really starting from scratch? And the answer is no, because even if I had like $0 in my pockets, even if I had nothing and I'm back on the streets, I have something that is worth more than any amount of money, and that is my experience.
Right.
In that experience, the hard work that was put in, the hours that were put in, the trials, the tribulations, the challenges, all of that, I mean, it doesn't have any price on it, and it's worth more than any amount of money that I've ever made. So yeah, I mean, even if I had to start everything all over again, I know it's like, imagine playing a game, an online game, you're unlocked every skill of a character,
Right.
and you get banned.
Yeah.
It took you 10 years to get to that
Yeah.
point, and then you know the code or the way to make everything back. You can do it in 6 months because you know what it takes. You have the cheat code. You have the
Yeah.
cheat sheet.
Yeah, I
in
always
your
say that
head.
too. Like, there's something that always comforts me is that if I did it once, I could do it twice. Like making
Definitely.
a million once, I can do it again. Like if I lose
Definitely.
it all, I'll do it again. But by the way, do you know why I won't quit?
Why?
Because I don't know what the fuck else I would do. Like,
That is
I
true.
literally like I don't know. Like I spent the past like 9, almost 10 years of my life doing this and thinking of what else to do. I don't know. Like I really don't. So that's also why creating a community
Yeah,
is
TradeVibe.
something that is pull the plug. TradeVibe right there. Creating a community is I'm driven by doing that now because like we talked about before, profit isn't as important anymore as it was back when we were starting out. And since it's no longer as important, then I need some more purpose with why I'm trading, and that's why TradeVibe, is a thing. It's a community.
Or like I said earlier, it would be selfish of you to keep all the knowledge to yourself.
Yeah, it would be selfish. Yeah, it's very true. Some people don't want to share. Some people do. We are here to share.
Definitely.
For sure. Yeah.
As we were saying before, if you were to do something else than trading, we said there's no other options. Like we live for trading, and I truly believe that we were destined to be traders, and because we unlock something in ourselves that is a universal law, and when something feels truly right, you cannot cheat that. You have that gut feeling in you. That's why like a lot of people come and go in that industry. I mean, we've been trading for almost a decade, and how many social media influencers, YouTube personalities have we seen come and go? A lot. And sometimes you can tell by how that person talks, that yeah, that person is genuine, or no, that person is not genuine. You got When you're new, it's hard to tell the difference because you're so infatuated by the money, the cars, the luxury life. But when you spend enough time and you dedicate yourself to this art, to this skill, you can tell. I mean, who's really in it for real and who's serious about it, and who's making it and who's not.
Yeah. You can see it as well in the mentor lifestyle kind of community of trading. Who is in it for long haul, who's not, who's in it to just milk the market, who genuinely want to help someone. Yeah, it's just you gotta stay focused and see who's the predator and who's not.
Stay dedicated, stay driven, stay disciplined.
Yeah,
The three
true.
Ds.
Yeah.
Some people focus on 2 Ds. We focus on 3 Ds.
I don't even know what.
It's okay.
I don't even know what that means.
The cameraman got it.
Yeah. Speaking
got
of
it.
our cameraman, that is Nick. He's a member of TradeVibe, and he's actually working along with me every single day, making TradeVibe and a reality and a completed project. He is our marketing guy. He's our filming guy, and he's also our strategist with all the things that we're doing. He's part of a larger team. Something we talked about earlier, that what makes me going, what I wanted to start TradeVibe a long time ago. Why didn't I do it? Well, because I didn't have this amazing team. You're going to be meeting Nick as well in a future episode where we're going to be talking a bit more about TradeVibe. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, is there anything else we should talk a little bit about? You're in Copenhagen. We should be doing something before you leave, before you go back to... Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Montreal.
Yeah,
So
the French part of Canada.
the French part of Canada. So yeah, I don't know how much there is to do in Copenhagen, to be honest. I've been told there's not much to do instead, other than just visiting Jacob.
There's a taxi driver. You were asking a taxi driver what to do, and what did he say?
Leave. I mean,
He said leave.
Yeah, I mean,
He said go to Sweden,
go to
Malmö.
Sweden. I mean, maybe we could do that. Visit Sweden. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll think about it.
I don't agree with his opinion. I don't want to go to Malmö.
Of course, you were born and raised here. This is your home.
Speaking of home, it didn't always used to be my home. I used to live somewhere else, and it's somewhere where we recently were. Good trip, a lot of fun. It's and by the way, this is something that you can do as well. Trading is a lifestyle, but also your profession. By doing these things, you're able to do a lot more with your time than just sitting at home and working 9 to 5. You can go around the world with your laptop and trade. I know it sounds cliche, and you hear it from all these influencers, trading influencers, that you can work with your laptop, but you can actually do it. You just need to know what you're doing, and that's what we can teach you. And you can also follow our trading ideas, where you can learn and profit together with us.
Yeah, exactly. There's people that want to travel and trade. Others
and we literally just did that, and we went and had a good time.
We had a good time. I was on my phone most of the time looking for trades.
Yeah, and I wasn't.
You wasn't. I mean, it was your personal decision. There's nothing wrong about it. I mean, you're designing the life that you want. I am obsessed about these charts.
Well, don't get me wrong. I love trading, and I look at the charts every day. I was just relaxing, having a good time.
Exactly.
And but that also goes to show, like, your motivation, your drive is that you just love trading. I see it as I love it as well. I don't love it as much as you, but I love it well enough to keep doing it for the rest of my life. But I know also when to take a break. You don't, and that's why you're part of this team. You are part of TradeVibe because you are a workhorse and you're good at what you're doing. And we need someone like you on this team.
That's not the only reason why I'm here. I mean, a good team is made of people that complete each other, and that's why, like me and you, we've went through so much over the years that we have proof that we kind of complete each other in some areas of life where we each lack in. So like we can count on each other to uplift each other, and that's super important, and it's hard to find in different people. So by completing each other, and you're very meticulous with how you work. Maybe I'm a bit less.
Are you complimenting me right now?
I mean, maybe I am. Just take
the
it.
way how you see it, maybe.
Take it.
I'll take it.
So yeah, I mean, just your work ethics have inspired me over the years.
Thank you, brother.
My obsession with charts have inspired you over the years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Also, your psychology is amazing. It's something I've noticed over the years that you've helped me get better mentally, not as negative. And I'm sure that you feel the same way that I have. Been less negative. You remember in the beginning, maybe sometimes I would be the one to say, "Oh, it doesn't work," or blah blah blah. But you would be the one to say, "No, it will work." And I'm sure that you noticed that me becoming more positive from you was an effect, because if I weren't becoming more positive, you would probably cut me off, because that's what you have to do. You have to cut off that negative energy. And since I'm still around, that means that you had a good influence on me. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure. And I'm happy we went through what we went, because at the end of the day, I mean, we're here today, and I think we're in a very blessed position. We don't take it for granted. We're extremely grateful for where we are right now, and just having the possibility of creating this project right now is success itself. Like, we don't know where this is going to go. We're just launching ourselves into this new venture. And I mean, we just have to be grateful for it. We thank God, we thank the universe for it. So I mean, it's some people don't have the opportunity to start something like that. It's just a dream for them to even starting. So we're taking action. We're doing the best that we can, and we'll keep on going on that route.
And right now, starting up with TradeVibe, we are setting the tone and a good stepping stone in the right direction for this company, because right now we're sitting here in my own home in Copenhagen, my townhome. We're sitting in the basement. We have this huge set going on. And that's just like a proof to the fact that we are serious about what we do. And we want to make sure that we have attention for details, and we want to make sure that everything we want to make sure that everything is done properly, even from the beginning, because we don't want to waste your time, and we don't want you to waste ours as well. So it's a win-win. I got a good one. You're going to love this, okay? There's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say. I have a therapist, and I do have one, because I like to talk to somebody that I can pay to listen instead of using my friends. There's nothing wrong using your friends talking, but I think it's nice to talk to somebody.
If you're not paying me to talk, let's go.
No. But my therapist, she gave me an assignment. And again, I want to stress that I'm fine, guys. Don't worry about me. I'm just having a therapist because I like to talk.
Yeah, that's perfectly healthy.
Yeah. And she gave me an assignment that I didn't do on purpose. And she told me the next time that, you know what, Jacob, that makes perfect sense why you didn't do it, because I know you, and this is true. You didn't do it because this is how you are. But I'm going to see if you can do this, okay? If you can do a short version of this one, okay? So the assignment she gave me was this. You have to make a speech for your 80th birthday.
Wow.
But it's not you who is writing it. It's someone who's close to you. So let's say like a brother or a friend that's been on the journey the entire time. So you have to make a speech for your 80th birthday by your friend, and then you have to write down everything that you would like that person to say about you. And that's a huge speech.
That's tough, man.
There's a lot to think about, because you have to think about, what do you want to be remembered by?
Yeah.
Is it all like trading related, like career? Is it family? Like, do you want to be the next Elon Musk? Do you not want to be the next Elon Musk? So you have to think about all these things in order to write that speech. And I was thinking, so the reason why I didn't do it, and why she nailed it.
You have no friends?
No. I have many friends, but I told her I don't want to write this speech because I don't like to know my future that way. I don't want to plan my future. I don't want to know what's going to happen, and I have so many different expectations that I just don't know what to write. And
I'm kind of just avoiding the question.
I just didn't want to do it, and she understood it. She understood based of like, she knows me, and she understood. I understand why you're not writing there, and you did it on purpose. It's not that you were lazy and you didn't want to write it. It's just that you didn't want to do it because it's not you to write something like that.
Okay, and you think that I could answer that question?
I mean, we're not the same person, so maybe you could. Is there just some keywords you would like to have on that speech? Your friend is writing it on your 80th birthday. Your life is pretty much over. What have you accomplished?
The thing is that annoys me a little bit with that is that it's basically caring about how, you know, that part you said, how people want to remember you. And that's the part I have
legacy.
And that's also the part that I have a problem with. Let me tell you why. Because I don't really care what people think about me. And it doesn't matter. I always... so maybe this is the answer. As long as people remember me as a genuine person, that's always been the person that he is. Like, I've never tried to be somebody else, and that I genuinely try to be myself with anybody, be honest in under any circumstances, and how I do business. Some people sometimes laugh about me of how I deal with certain stuff, but it's all about being honest and genuine with whoever I'm interacting with. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. So, but at the end of the day, I don't really care what people think about me.
So it sounds to me like if you had my therapist, you wouldn't be writing the speech either.
No, probably not. You know something I like to do that maybe we can try on this podcast?
Sure.
I like usually just taking my phone and start recording like my friends or whoever is around me and just putting them on the spot and tell them.
You want to call somebody?
Not call somebody. I usually just take my phone and I put them on the spot and be like, hey, talk to yourself, or like, how are you in this exact moment? Tell a message or speak to yourself in the future, because I like to look back on those moments. I'm putting you on the spot. Like,
Let's go.
This is the first podcast. This is podcast 1. I don't know if you're gonna split it, if you're gonna split this podcast, how many videos you're gonna be doing.
No.
But I want you right now to talk to future Jacob that maybe could be shooting the last podcast.
So
video.
like an outro for my last video.
Not an outro. Oh, well, just maybe when you're doing the last podcast, maybe not the last podcast. Let's say it like in 5 years, 10 years, or just maybe
whenever it's the last one.
Or doesn't have to be the last. Could be when you're in another studio. Just use this piece of content right now to bring it back in the future. Because I love to do that on Instagram while I make like predictions on some markets or whatever. And I just document the whole moment itself of what I was thinking and bring it forward in a few weeks, months, or years.
I would say years probably. That's
Go
when
ahead.
a lot has happened, and that's when TradeVibe. Oh my god, I keep saying wipe. TradeVibe, because we're not vibing. We are vibing. Well, in a few years, I'm gonna be on this podcast, and we're gonna be sponsored, and we're gonna have
who, Elon Musk?
No, we're gonna have endorsements and monetization, whatever you call it, on for sure, man. Right now, we're trying out different things to see what works. We want to keep our audience informed about what's happening and be transparent. If there's a demand for this, then we're going to keep going forever. So I might be doing this in 5 years, and this is going to be episode 450 of TradeVibe, the podcast. Hopefully, we find a better name for the podcast than just a podcast. But do you want me to like live myself into the role? I can make like a video, like a small sketch.
Go ahead.
Something like that. Okay, we'll go like this. I will clips with my fingers. I mean, snaps my fingers like Thanos.
Go ahead.
And then half this room disappears.
Go ahead.
All right. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode 450 of TradeVibe, the podcast. I'm sorry we never figure out another name for the podcast. We'll just stick with it. I remember one time we had a guest on, Nadim, who's still part of this team today. He's the executive vice president of the crypto and overall. He basically took over the company more or less, but we are on good terms because he is the good friend of mine, and we are ride or die. I'm here as your host and still doing trades for you. I'm gonna let smarter people run the company because we have a good vision for TradeVibe. We want to make sure it succeeds. So I'm gonna be sticking here doing this as your favorite host. Today we're gonna be talking with Elon Musk, and maybe also we said no to Bill Gates because he's getting old. Like he can't even walk pretty much at this point. So we talked about Elon Musk. He's making this stupid car, Cybertruck 4 at this point, and it can fly, and it's crazy. But he's flying in here in a second, and we're going to teach him how to trade through TradeVibe. Yeah, we're going to give him some free content because that's what we still do to this day. We are free 100%, and you can learn and trade with us. That's all you can do. So, yeah, that's something I'm going to be telling Elon Musk when he comes. And besides that, I just really love what I'm doing. Hopefully, I will do that again in another 5 years. I will love it as much as I still do. And to my family, I have probably at this point 5 kids because my pullout game is so weak when it comes to personal life. But in trading, it's so good. Like I have a pullout game that's so strong in trading. I know always when to leave a trade. But in real life, I don't apparently. I have 2 kids at this point. One on the way, on one beautiful boy right now. And yeah, so hopefully we have a good life together as well. By the way, okay, that's it. Okay, is that fine?
That's very good. I love it.
Okay, let's clap. Nick, why are you not clapping? Nick,
Clap.
Nick is He's sleeping.
He's sleeping. Well, maybe in whenever you're gonna bring up this video, he's gonna be the one having a team under him. He's gonna be
Yeah.
managing the video team.
Nick is
editing
gonna
team.
be here long term as well.
Of course, I know. Very
Yeah,
smart guy,
yeah.
wise guy, and he's been part of the journey since the start. So
Yeah. He's a key member of TradeVibe team, and he's gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
Right, Nick? Nick is he's saying like yes. Yeah, and we, like I said before, we will bring Nick on for another episode in the future, very near, very soon, and we're gonna be talking more about TradeVibe. Now we're gonna go back to Nadim. Nadim,
yeah,
so far it's been amazing having you on,
Thank
and we have never met each other before our past trip to LA. We have known each other since 2000. You corrected me, 15, but by the way, it's 16, and we can look it up, and then you can see it on the camera. It is 16.
okay.
Just wanted you to know that. But yeah, we had never seen each other before LA. And I remember when you drove me to the airport in LA, I said, I'll see you in 8 years, but it was only 8 weeks
Yeah,
until
exactly.
we saw each other again. When is the next time we're going to hang out? What is going to happen next time?
I don't know. We'll
Want to
let
go to Miami?
Miami. We could. I mean,
Bora Bora?
We could go wherever you want. I mean, maybe we can try and focus on going to space.
Nick, where would you go right now if you had the opportunity?
I would say Japan.
Japan. Nick wants to go to Japan. His girlfriend speaks Japanese. I heard that conversation when I was upstairs earlier getting burgers. Yeah, she speaks Japanese crazy. That's very, very cool. I think Japan is a good place, but I think we should start with Miami. We talked about Miami.
Yeah, we did
being
talk
the
about
next
Miami.
trip.
Japan, anyways, is also on my to-do, or not to-do, like places I would like
Yeah,
to
it's
go.
on the
So
bucket list.
on the bucket list
Yeah.
for sure. Miami is like another home for me. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like this is the beauty of trading. We can just take our laptops, pack a suitcase, carry-on suitcase, and we can leave to wherever we want.
Exactly. That is the lifestyle of trading.
That is the
Not so
lifestyle.
much me because I have kids now, but it's still like making you free. And I work from home mostly, and I can go and pick up my son early from daycare, and I can spend more time with him.
It's little luxuries that have no prices on, but that you can afford to do. That not everybody can. So yes, definitely, you did very well, and I'm very proud of the person that you became. And
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to see how the kind of person and dad and father you're gonna become over the next few years.
And you're probably gonna be a father eventually as well.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will tell. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's cool.
If it happens, it happens. If not, then if such is my life path, I will keep on that way.
Cool. What is your favorite part about our trip that we did? If you have to like nitpick one thing that you absolutely enjoyed, it doesn't have to be materialistic or anything like that. It can be whatever.
Honestly, it was just a taste of freedom.
Mm-hmm. Being reminded that you can do whatever you want when you want.
Yes. It was so inspiring, because we're both workaholics, and we can get lost in the sauce for a long period of time. So just having that as a reminder that hey, you still have that as part of life. It was very inspiring. Like I know I got back home and I was like, damn, like this was so inspiring to a point where I wanted to do that again, and I want this to become like I was doing that already, but it's just a reminder, and it was a perfect balance between like work and fun, and it's just you want to design your life that way. So
Yeah.
the fact that trading and connecting and community, all of that together brought us to that point. It's a perfect testament to what we can achieve. Because a few years ago, we would have never imagined like being able to do stuff like that. Like when we first started out, we were doing coffee money.
Yeah, right. Coffee
Exactly,
money.
coffee money. And now
Mm.
we went to
We're
another.
doing Lambo money.
We get Lambo money. Exactly. We got to another country. We took coffee in another country and a beautiful port on the beach. So like this is just proof that with enough dedication, drive, and discipline, you can achieve anything you want.
The 3Ds.
3Ds.
Yeah. That's true. One of my favorite moments from the trip, something that reminded me of also why profit doesn't matter as much anymore, is that it's not about the things, it's about who you're with and the experiences. One of my favorite moments was driving around in the desert and just, not having to work or do anything or be anywhere besides in that moment with the music and good people. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was amazing to me. That's something you can do. That's something that never gets old, I would say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We had no connection. We were disconnected from the outside world. We were in the
Yeah.
middle of the desert. We almost had no gas also, so there was a possibility that we were gonna be stuck in a desert.
Right, because we went to a national park
Exactly.
that had no gas stations in miles.
We
Yeah.
took the risk, but the risk paid off. We got
Yeah.
to experience a beautiful bonding moment, I would say also.
Yeah, and to anyone watching at this point in the podcast, wherever it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, why we're talking about this is, like I said in the beginning, sometimes we fall off a cliff a little bit and go
Yeah.
steer away from the trading talks. But overall, this is lifestyle. This is what you were able to do yourself, and it's something that I'm not a success coach or anything, but I can be your trading coach. And if you join a community like TradeVibe, this is something that is very possible for you to do as well, because if you're trading with us and we can do it, then if you're trading with us, then you can do it. So yeah, that's something I just wanted to put in there. If people are wondering why you guys talking about this, well, it's something that we could do because we are traders.
We have the receipts.
Yeah.
We have the receipts. We some people will force sell you a lifestyle, but like we didn't have to force anything. That trip also, yeah, another thing that I loved is how it felt natural and in sync, and like it's like we were meant to do that trip. I truly felt that, and I had signs from different moments where I just felt at the right place at the right time. If I was living in a lie, or if it was like hiding something, or if it was whatever, it would have felt a lot different. And just the fact that everything felt just right. I mean, heck, even the slot machine at the end paid off. Remember?
Oh, in Vegas?
In Vegas. I mean, just that. I mean, some people would call that maybe luck or whatever. I truly believe that it was genuine. So, little background story. So friends of mine were like, "Yeah, you're going to Vegas. Look for that machine with a wolf on it."
Right, yeah.
And then I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. The wolf. We're gonna look for that wolf." And wolves is also like one of my favorite animals.
True, mine
Then-
too.
Exactly, yours too. Because
Spirit animal.
in the car, when we were driving, I had to ask you that question, like, what is your spirit animal? And you said wolves. I was like,
Or,
okay,
or
Does-
wolf, or...
doesn't matter right now.
Okay, fair enough. But an eagle.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the wolf symbolism came back again. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me keep going. When we got to Vegas, we were walking around. I kept looking at the slot machines, and I didn't see anything that is wolf related at all until literally the moment we were about to head back to our room on our last night. I saw a machine with wolves on it. I was like, yo, Jacob, this is the machine. This is the wolves. We got to trust the wolves. And yeah, we went, and the machine paid off $1 gazillion, a lot of coffee money.
True, yeah.
But this is just another receipt of how the entire trip felt natural. I mean, okay, yeah, so this is not trading related at all.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to trading a little bit. Did you ever, me pretty
Mhm.
well. Did you think that I was ever going to create TradeVibe? Because I've been talking about it for so long. Did you doubt it that I was ever going to do it?
I always knew you were gonna do something big because of how meticulous you are in your work. You were always like the Excel guy. You would categorize everything, a little bit like Monica and Friends. So you were like the guy version of that. So I always knew that whatever project you were gonna launch yourself into, it was gonna be done very well, very properly. And from what I'm witnessing right now, this is still true to this day. And whether it was going to be trading related or not, I don't know. We were still young back then, so there was a lot of possibility of us deviating into something else. But the fact that you stuck with trading, it's not surprising that TradeVibe is coming to life today. Like it was
And-
something to be expected.
That's cool. Yeah, honestly, I can't take all the blame. Although I did initiate and pull the trigger, and loaded the gun and all that stuff. Yes, but without the team that I like to, there's no I in team. I like to mention that because they are working very hard to help me make this a reality. And yeah, I remember TradeVibe. What do you think of the name, by the way? Because we're sticking with that at least.
I
And
love it.
I don't know about the name for the podcast, but for the name of the brand, we're gonna be sticking with it. You like the name?
Trading and vibing.
Yeah, trading
It's
and
all-
vibing.
It's all a vibe.
How much would you think the domain cost me back then in 2021 when I decided to buy the domain?
I remember you told me, but I forgot now.
So have you have any idea?
Probably more than any domain I personally bought.
And me too. literally like $4,000
Oh, not bad.
or $3,000-$4,000. And I was wondering like, why is it so expensive? Well, because it's short and catchy.
Have you tried looking recently if you want to sell it again, how much it would cost?
No, I have not.
Because you got that years ago.
Yeah, not that many years ago, but when I figured out the name for
It was
TradeVibe.
way it was like at least from 2017, 18.
No, that was I wanted to call it Tradeverse.
Oh,
So universe, trade universe.
True.
Which was supposed to be a competitor to TradingView.
Mm-hmm.
But Tradeverse was not available for the .com, and you know me for being attention to detail and all that stuff. I needed it to be .com,
Of
so
course.
I had to find another name, and that's when in 2021, early 21, I decided it's gonna be TradeVibe.
I love it.
I even made the design of the logo myself. And the agency that we work with, so by the way, so our team consists of like developers, like we have a couple of developers, a couple of designers, and we have support and you know, all this good people working with us, and obviously Nick behind the camera. The agency was trying to create another version of the logo, and they just ended up being like, yo, we're just gonna stick with this because
For
it's
sure.
good.
Yeah.
They changed the font. Fair enough. I can live with that. Yeah, I can live with that. So but yeah, so it's nice to start the first podcast episode with you, to be honest. Since we started, like I said earlier, this journey together back in 2016, Nadim, not 15. That's maybe when you joined the trading room, but I didn't join it before
You're right.
16.
You're right. That's very possible.
But my journey started back in 2014, so we didn't cross paths until a couple of years later.
Who knows? Maybe we cross path in another life.
Maybe we'll both be wolves.
Maybe we'll be wolves in another life. Or we were wolves.
Werewolves?
Werewolves?
Yeah.
We were
maybe.
in another life, or eagles. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. I just want to say to you, Nadim, thank you so much for being on, brother. I salute you. I love you. And I'm so happy that I met you. And it's going to be an amazing journey. So, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching, listening, and viewing wherever you are, which platform. I appreciate it. Subscribe and make sure if there's anything we can do differently about this podcast, make sure to put it in the comments. We will appreciate it, whether it's negative or positive. It's all good. We love you. We appreciate it. We want the attention. We want to get better. That's what TradeVibe is all about. So, yeah, thank you so much. And is there anything else you want to say, Nadim, here at the end?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's an honor to be here. I'm looking forward to see how this little baby of a project that is TradeVibe will evolve. And, yeah, thank you again.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. See ya. Peace.